6 of our Path of Exile playthrough. So I mentioned that we were going to get a few upgrades last time the trade website was down, but I went ahead and actually purchased a bunch of items so I would have it ready for you guys to go ahead and show off for this part of our play session. So I got a bunch of items. I'll walk you guys through what to actually look for. You don't have to participate in the trading if you don't want to, but I highly recommend at least getting a newer weapon unless your weapon's damage is really good and you still are clearing out things very fast. So we actually picked up a few items and I'll show you exactly what you're looking for, but the first thing you're going to do is convert your currency to something that people actually will want to trade for. So I'm going to move my face out of the way really quick, and what you want to try to get are these orbs of alchemy. You can get most of these items for like 1 alch. These will cost a little bit more, like 1 to 2 chaos a piece, and I'll show you what you're looking for. Now you don't have to grab these exact items, it's just I'm showing these off as an example. So what you want to do first though is we want to convert our currency. So the currencies that you guys will probably have, and I've already spent mine. The reason why I did this off stream or off our little playthrough session is because it takes a really long time for people to respond, and I'll kind of show you exactly what we went ahead and did. So you can go to the Path of Exile trade website, or you can go to the PoE.trade. I'm going to use PoE trade because I prefer it. So I've already showed you guys this website where you can go and buy stuff. We've already actually purchased one of our items here, the armor. If you guys remember, this was in, like, I believe, part 2 of our playthrough. But make sure again that Ritual League is selected, and you'll see at the top right, you'll see where it says Currency Market. So a lot of the things that you guys will have saved up as you progress are going to be these things called chromatic orbs. Those are the things that change the colors of the little sockets. You'll probably have a bunch of these, and you'll probably have a bunch of fusers, as I didn't really use any of these, and orbs of alchemy as well. So what we want is chaos orbs, and what we have are, let's say, jeweler's orbs. These are a mechanic where it will change the number of sockets on the item. You probably have a bunch of these. These 3 is what you're gonna mainly trade for, as these ones are the ones that most people will actually want to actually trade for. But if you happen to get some of these other ones, if you're lucky enough to get an exalted orb, this could be absolutely huge for what you actually want. So pretty much chaos orb is what you want to try to go for. So if I click on like the chaos orbs to jeweler's orbs and I hit search, you'll see that there's a bunch of people. Now this guy over here, he's giving the ratio of 0.8 to a chaos orb. So what that would mean is 120 jeweler's orbs equals 10 chaos orbs. So usually what happens is the person at the top will always give you the best deal. That's what it sorts it by. But the minimum amount that you need to trade this guy is 120. That's probably unrealistic. On average, you might have about 20. This guy is doing 15 to 1. So what I would do is I would hit contact seller. It would go ahead and set this up, and we can select how much we want. And if we go over the amount, then we won't have it. But what we would do is we highlight this. We would copy, so right click, copy, paste, or Control C, Control V, and then we would go ahead and put it into the chat. And we would go ahead and, oops, we didn't copy this one. And Fortnite, I guess, copied. So we would go ahead and copy and hit paste, and then he would respond back. I went ahead and did this with a bunch of the different currencies, but what you want to try to do is get as many chaos orbs as you possibly can. This is what I recommend. Again, this is technically optional, but I'm going to show it because this is what I will be doing for our playthrough. And it's important just to understand the trade system over here. So yeah, once again, we're in the currency market. And another thing that you'll probably have a bunch of, so I'm going to once again select chaos orb. You have a bunch of these chromatic orbs as well, and I'm gonna hit search, and you can see this guy, it's 8 to 1. That's a pretty good ratio. So if I had, let's say, like 30 or 40 of these, because I think that's what I had, and I just traded all of these to this person. And I'm gonna go ahead and actually show you also the because I saved these screenshots just so I would have these for you guys, but I went ahead and did this, the exact same thing. I just threw it up on another monitor just to make it much easier. And we were basically hitting up a lot of people. You can see if I go to my trade chat over here, you can see I was like, hey, I got jewelers, I got fusers. I was contacting a lot of people. The reason why I do this off of our play session is because this takes a long time. People don't respond. I've mentioned that before in like our first part of our playthrough, but I still saved all the screenshots so you guys know that I didn't get any of these items from a friend or anything. But the other thing that I went ahead and did is actually got a nice little weapon for what we are going to be using on a new skill called Flicker Strike. So I got this for 3 Chaos Orbs. This is a 6 socket, 4 linked, but you could still definitely get, this was not like an insanely OP deal or anything. It's just, if there is a good deal, what I usually do is I throw this up on another monitor and I kind of refresh every once in a while as I progress in the game to see if there's any good deals. Specifically, having 6 sockets is pretty nice to have in the very beginning, so I went ahead and actually purchased this one. But you can still find these. The most important thing with this is just that it has a lot of flat physical damage, and it gets us extra movement speed, and it's just a nice item to have overall. At this point in the game, you have to be level 51 for it, but that's like the only real requirement. You'll have the strength and dexterity most likely to equip this. But I'll show you also that like you can purchase this item. Let me go ahead and go back to the item trades, because pretty much like I said, you want to convert a lot of the currency that you have into Chaos Orbs over here, and be careful if you know, sometimes people, they'll cancel trade and then they'll give you like a less amount. It's not very common, but like just like with any game when there's players involved, sometimes people do try to scam. So just be careful on that. But I'm gonna go back to item trades. Again, you don't have to get this item. Since we are getting two-handed weapons, I'm just gonna select generic two-handed weapon. And since we're doing physical damage, I'm level 51, but whatever level you happen to be, let's say like 50. On average, you'll be at least level 50 here, so I'm gonna put that in. And I'm going to go ahead, actually, we'll do 51 because it'll also come up with the Terminus S, which is the unique item that I'm using. So I'm going to sort by the P DPS. So this is physical, actually, I want to click right here where it says physical. So this will show how much physical damage it does, and there's also DPS, and there's also, if you want elemental damage. You can click on any of these things to sort by that. Like I said, I prefer this weapon. Even though it has less DPS, it has a special stat that I'm going to be using to grant ourselves a Flicker Strike, basically a charge of Frenzy, which will allow us to use Flicker Strike more often. But if I was to search for the exact same item, the name of it is Terminus Est, and I'm just going to go hit search. Now the important thing with this is the crit is actually going to be more valuable right now than the damage. We can buy another one of these later down the line, but these are super cheap items. I happen to play 3 chaos for mine because it has 6 sockets, and they're not linked, so I'm actually going to be using my armor for my setup here. But the most important thing is just get a new weapon. It doesn't have to be this one, but if you want to get it, it's about like 1 chaos. This guy's selling it for 4 alchemies, which are super cheap this league. But this is what I actually purchased, so you just go ahead and click Whisper, it'll copy it, and then you just go ahead and trade just like you saw previously. But I also got a few other items. So this is one of the items that I did get, and you can see all the stats over here. It doesn't have to have the exact same stats, as long as it's just, you could just sort it by DPS. Usually that's like the easiest way to do it. But try to get one with as many sockets as you possibly can. So what I would do with this is I would put, let's say, 1 Chaos Orb, because this is like, you'll definitely have at least 1 Chaos Orb at this point in the game. So I would just put as many sockets in as possible. Let's try 5. Let's see if we can get a 5 socket for 1 Chaos Orb. There we go. So you have pretty much what I have. I just happen to get a 6, which is a really decent one for 3 Chaos. It's like okay, but yeah, 1 Chaos Orb. These, ideally, if they're linked, that would be excellent, but I would recommend getting a body armor that's 5 linked because it's much cheaper to do that. So when I went ahead and did, and I paid, I believe, 2 chaos for my armor. So the armor that I got is the ambush charge. So if I was to type that in, I could also type that ambush charge. So we can just type this in. Make sure you also reset this because like now we're on a weapon. The level requirement, I guess, we'll just do. Let's do 5 links. So this is more important over here. So it doesn't actually have to be ambush charge, but I'm just going to type it in. Let's put this at, let's say, 3. I got mine for 2, which was a pretty okay deal, but oh, there's a bunch for 2. But I wanted specific colors for mine. You don't have to copy the colors that I'm using, but I'm going to be using Flicker Strike, so I need at least 1 green. I put a blue for crit, and obviously we're going to put some of the other gems that we had in here. So we're going to have a new skill. It's going to be a completely new playstyle, but this is like, again, an item. I'm just showing you guys that, like, what I bought wasn't super. Actually, these are all 6 sockets as well. So yeah, you can get this pretty easy. We also bought the Shadows and Dust. So the reason why I got this armor is because it's relatively cheap. It gives us a decent amount of armor. The energy shield is not really that useful for our build right now, but also grants life and extra resistances as we progress in the game. We will actually get negative resistances, so we want some extra resistances, even though before at some point we did technically have 75 to all resistance. It's going to start like lowering itself as we get further in the game, and this will just help mitigate that. I also picked up these boots. So these two are going to be like 1 to 2 chaos apiece. These pairs of boots, they're like nothing. They're 1 alchemy. So these are called the Blood Dance. The only reason why I'm running this is because it grants us a 27 chance to gain a frenzy charge on kill. That will allow us to get a charge which will be used for our flicker strike. This also grants us a frenzy charge on a critical strike. So when we crit, we're going to get a frenzy charge in. This is a big part of what we're going to be doing next. And I don't know if I actually need these. This helmet is also very cheap. What it does is it just adds some flat stats. Ideally, I try to get one with 4 sockets, so I can go ahead and put in my like precision, my Herald of Ash. I can put these all in here so I can move everything over, and that's what we're really doing here. This helmet's completely optional. The most 2 important things is get any 5-link chest, and then get whatever you can with the Terminus, as ideally this rolls up to, if you hold Alt, you can see what its max like stats are. But the most important thing is actually the crit strike chance. So if I was to go over here and go to my crit strike chance of this is how I would do it with Terminus. So I'll go back to Terminus, and 5-link Terminus is going to cost way too much. Like I said, get the links elsewhere. So if I click where it says crit, 8.75 is technically the highest. See if you can get something. I would say what I would search for is crit strike. I'd put minimum 8.7. Like I said, 8.75 is the highest, but you might not get like the best results. I'm going to also put 1 just so you guys can get it as like cheap as possible. So now it'll only show minimum with the 8.7, and I'm going to go select DPS down. So ideally, I try to get the one with the highest DPS at this price that has at least this much crit, because we want to get crits to get our frenzy charges, and I'll show you how that mechanic works. We also got a new flask. This actually dropped for me. I actually really do think this is a super underrated flask for leveling. So this one up over here is called Dodre's Elixir, and it's a super cheap item. This we have to reset the... It's not going to cost a chaos orb. Let's see how much it costs. It's probably like an alch. Yeah, it's just 1 alchemy. So this is another thing that you can get. You can, in fact, run multiples of these. So when we drink this, it's another optional thing. In fact, everything I'm mentioning is optional here, but I'm just trying to show you guys everything as we roll into this next act. It grants us a power charge, a frenzy charge, and an endurance charge. Power charge is more crit. You'll see like these little orbs around us. The blues are power charges, the green are frenzy charges. So our next ability will use these frenzy charges to actually use the skill. And then an endurance charge will give us some form of physical damage reduction, but it can also give you other types of damage reduction if you spec into it. But the most important thing is it just grants us a bunch of extra crit, and it's really nice to have. Speaking of crit, we have to go into the amulet section now. And what I'm going to show off next is these amulets. Now, this is a super cheap amulet. You can get this for 1 alch. This you can also get for like 1 alch or maybe 1 chaos. So this amulet is called Ungil's Harmony. It doesn't let you do crit damage, but what it does is give you up to 350% increased global critical strike chance, which is an insane amount. The downside is your critical strikes don't deal extra damage. This is to facilitate the ability to use your weapon, this unique weapon that grants us a frenzy charge when we crit. But I have this amulet that I got really lucky and I found, and I'll show you, like, there was a couple last night. The reason why I bought all these, by the way, is because I was afraid the trade servers were going to go down again. So this is the armor that we got, the ambush charge. But more importantly, over here is the item that I got. And I'll show you how to search for. These are called talismans. They usually aren't something people get too excited about, but these are relatively cheap. The one I got allocated True Strike, and I'll show you how that mechanic works now. So I'm going to actually get the PoE trade website up once again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in amulet. And this is something very important to teach you guys. So we want an amulet, and ideally you want as much crit as possible. We're also going to keep the level the same. You can also put in your stats as like maximum amount of requirements, because some will require certain stats. This is just like with all items. But For this one in particular, we're going to be looking for global critical strike chance. So I'm going to type that in, and I'm going to put minimum 60. The reason why is because it's just, you want as high as possible, but like 60 is like a good starter point. And then I want to go to enchanted and say yes. This will allocate a new skill point for us. And then I'm also going to put, like, let's say 1 chaos orb. I'm going to hit search, and we're going to see what comes up. You'll see that there's all these talismans. So you'll see that this one has like 68 total. If I click on this, it'll sort it by the highest. This is actually 78. And it's also giving you 12 to 20 physical damage to attacks. This is great. What I searched for was specifically this set of parameters, and then I hit add mod, and then I typed in physical. There's probably only going to be one if I type this in. But let's move this number lower a little bit, just so I can give you guys more results. Let's see if there are any. Oh, there's no. Oh, this is not. Okay, physical. It's a number, adds. Okay, this is the one we want. The other one is a percent, and that doesn't show up. Okay, so there's a couple that you guys can get. So what we're doing is, since we're scaling physical damage, I'm going to be on the lookout for physical. So this one also adds life. This one's actually really good. This one also allocates Fire Walker. So where it says enchanted and it says allocates something, right? To find out what the heck that does, and I recommend searching, like, see what pops up first. Ideally, you want the physical damage and you want as much crit as possible. Then what we're going to have to do is open up our passive skill tree, and we're going to type in whatever that one is. One of them was Firewalker, so I'll type in Firewalker, and this is what Firewalker, oh, that's not it. I'll just type in the whole thing. I'll type in Firewalk. And we'll have to find out where the heck Firewalker is. Is it one? Maybe it was one word. Let's just go back real quick. It was fire. Oh, fire. Yeah, it's Fire Space Walker. Okay, here it is. So Firewalker grants us 25% increased fire damage, increased cast speed with fire skills, and extra resistance. Would this help us out? Not really, so that's not one that I'd actually look for. There's also one that says Heart of the Warrior, so I can type in, like, Heart of the Warrior, and I have to find out where it's highlighted. I know this seems like super complex, but okay, Heart of the Warrior. We actually already have this, but what it will do is it'll give us this passive point without even touching the skill tree at all. So this one we already have, so I can, like, unspec out of it and I'd still have it. This one's like okay, but ideally you want to try to get something that is super far away that you can't get. The one I happen to get, let me go ahead and actually move this, and I'll put my cam back on now that we're pretty much wrapping up, like, you know, my little tutorial here for what we needed. I got one that allocated True Strike. So this one over here, if I equip this amulet, you'll see that True Strike is, now we have this. Like, if you take this out, it's going to put that passive in, and that grants us 15% critical strike multiplier, but more importantly is that critical strike chance. Multiplier is our crit damage, and the other one is our crit chance. So that's what we're going to prioritize. I'm just going to go ahead and close my other windows here, and now we're basically set up. I also bought these gloves called Shadows and Dust. This cost me 1 Chaos Orb. I'm just going to be showing off this new mechanic called Rampage. It also grants us extra crit chance. Ideally, we get Maligro's Virtuosity, but it's way too expensive right now. So that's what we are using right now. But it also grants us physical damage leached as mana, so that'll be nice, because I do plan to replace this belt, but I'll do that later, because I know we're like 20 minutes in and we haven't even started Act 6, but this is very important to show off. So now we have to go move our skills, and we're going to be using a new skill as well in this part of our playthrough. Now, we still will be using Cyclone, as it's just way better for damage overall, but let's go ahead and move everything over. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in Precision. Actually, I think we're going to swap my helm too. So what I'm going to do is make sure I have, wherever I put Leap, so I'm going to put Leap Slam over here. I'm also going to put in the faster attack support so we can use it more often. And since these ones aren't linked, it doesn't really matter. Well, these two are linked together perfectly. And then this is where I'm going to move my Cyclone over. So I'm going to put Cyclone over here, and then we'll also do the melee physical damage. And let's do added fire damage. And then we still have, like, let's say, I guess I can throw an Impale over here. Even though I don't have too much chance for Impale right now, it's something I plan to do later. So this is what we're going to go do with our weapon. And then now for our main skill, we're actually going to be swapping that out. So I'm going to move Ice Golem out, since we're going to be swapping out our armor. So for our armor, I'm going to put in the Flicker Strike, and I'm going to take that increased critical strike support gem, put it in over here. And we also have, let's see, Rage support. This is another one that I want. I have leveled up those other gems, which I mentioned before. It's always good to level up gems on like another weapon. You don't even have to have it like out. You just have to have it like equipped on the secondary weapon slot. So you just click on this little tab. We're gonna go. Actually, we could use Fortify later too. We're gonna go and throw in. This is important if you want to do the Flicker Strike. You can still just Cyclone and you can completely ignore this skill. But if you get a 5 link, you might as well link it with Cyclone. So you would multi-strike does not work with the Cyclone, but it will work with this skill. And then we're also going to throw in Melee Splash because it's like a single target skill. So I'm going to swap this out. Now we have this set up over here, and I also got some extra boots, but I have to again swap all of the gems out. So moved those all out of the way. Now I'm going to swap helmets as well because I got a nice little upgrade here, and we're going to go swap our boots out. So this, with Herald of Purity, we definitely want to continue using that. That's a really good skill. Blood Rage, I still want to use that, as that will grant us a Frenzy Charge on kill, which we've already used this before, and I kind of explained the mechanic of the Frenzy Charge. And then we also have Precision, which I guess I can put right here. And then, let's see, what else do we have? We have Ice Golem and Blood Rage. We also have the, we don't have to have Molten Shell, but it would be nice. We'll also throw in our Herald of Ash. The most important is the Herald of Purity and Ash. So those are like our actual little buffs. And we also have our Molten Shell. I don't have, actually, I could throw in the glove socket of this one. Perfect. Because I also got some new gloves. And I could still use Righteous Fire. Perfect. And we are all set up. And I'm going to go ahead and now finally start Act 6. Now that we've increased our playstyle significantly, I'm going to go ahead and also move these just to our stash. You can, if you have older items and like they're actually like okay, you can consider selling them. But hello everyone in the chat. Sorry I had to like explain everything about how you doing. Beanie, Debated, Tally, Magus, Chimley, and Shadal, Winda. Is this one of my top 5 games? I could easily consider this one of my top 5 games of all time. Definitely. It's so complex, and I really do like complexity with my games. But we're also going to be giving ourselves some more resistances because we did progress a little bit, and I need some more resistances. So what I plan to do is actually start scaling some more life and armor, as now we finally have armor. If I move my face out of the way, you can see our armor now is 2,000, and we also have 47% damage reduction. Because before we had like, was it 2% or something damage reduction, which is terrible unless we used our Granite Flask, which granted us armor. So now we're going to go put some stat points into some extra armor, and you'll see that like, so instead of that 47% damage reduction, we have 51. As you get more and more armor, you'll get more diminishing returns, but the value of getting 1% as you go higher in the game is actually significant. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to start scaling life, and we're going to go up. So we're going to go here, and we're just going to get this increased armor and life as we're kind of progressing relatively fast right now. And I want to get these right here. It's just for something I want to maybe scale fire later down the line with the rage mechanic. It depends on kind of what we get and how rich we get and how fast we get rich in the game, as we will definitely be respeccing out of some things. It's just sometimes it's better to get certain things earlier on, but I want to get disemboweling as it's really important. Usually we can allocate this kind of like the allocation. Now this amulet is corrupted, but you can get an amulet and then throw these oils on it to get whatever one that you want. And it was something I mentioned before, like you'll see these colors, but we can't really get the oils until later in the game. But I definitely want to grab this, and there's also some okay stuff up over here for fire, which is something going to be way later down the line. But I want to start scaling defenses, as I will have a huge amount of damage. We're going to be deleting content right now. So let's go ahead and finally get started. So we'll go ahead and talk to Sin over here. And just go. You'll see that it tells us to go that way, but that's for an optional quest called Fallen from Grace, and it'll grant us passive respec points, which we don't need. But now we have Flicker Strike, so I'm going to go ahead and cast all our buffs again, and because when you move a gem, you're going to have to reactivate your buffs, so make sure your buffs are all up again. We also have Leap Slam, and I have Cyclone and Flicker Strike ready to go. And you guys will now see one of the coolest skills in the game. So this is Flicker Strike. Well, Oh, we're getting rogues markers. That's for another mechanic, which I'll show later down the line, as I want to get more of it. But you'll see over in the left, there are these things called, this is for Rampage. This is what this allocates. Alright, it grants us that. But now we're going to be teleporting when we attack. So if you don't want to use it, you don't have to, at all. This is the Abyss. And what you can do is you'll follow these trails. You'll see that there's a little green dot. If we follow the trail, we will eventually come up to an engagement that gets a little bit difficult. It should be fine for us. Like right now, you can still see, even with my Cyclone, with my 4-link, if for whatever reason like you couldn't get the 5-link, it's no problem. You're totally fine. And at the end, there's a little chest that you can open up. There's a nice little jade flask. But yeah, you can definitely use whatever skill you want. So if I click on this Abyssal Trove right here, it's going to open up and it'll grant us this thing called the Hypnotic Eye Jewel. Now, I showed you guys the jewel mechanic already, which we have this in. Heck, this could be technically better. Let me go ahead and identify and let's see what it does. Extra life and increased damage against abyssal monsters. I don't really care too much about that. I can do 1 alch on it if I scour it, or we can just, if we see more, I'll try to modify them. You won't really get a. I don't think you can get a white one, but yeah, choose the skill that you like and keep on going with it. I think I missed out on one of these before, but we'll see. You can see our damage is massive right now. And let's see what the rewards are. So there really isn't anything too great here. I'm just going to continue. So being as efficient as possible, I started thinking about it. It's way better to do this at the very end. So I'm going to defer. I guess I can defer this. Actually, maybe we defer both of these. And we'll continue. And I actually got another point to put in a skill, and we're just going to throw it into that extra armor and resistances. As the reason why, by the way, like you don't have to get as much resistances on your tree that I am doing, but you can copy it if you want to. The reason why I like doing it in the very beginning is right when you get towards like the beginning of the end game. A lot of items, if they don't get resistances on them, people sell them for like super cheap because a lot of people won't want them. Like you can get a lot of really amazing items that don't have resistance for way cheaper. And that's why. Oh, this is a delirium mechanic. I'll show you what that does after. We'll have to make sure we activate our blood rage. And let's see what we have for rewards on this one. So we have some chromatics. I'm going to go ahead and just take those. And this item over here. Not really anything too important. But, so how this delirium mechanic works. Oh, this one's currency. That's awesome. So, how this works is you'll see that there's a giant fog. And how it works is it's kind of like a donut. You want to get away from it as it spreads. So, wherever you opened up the delirium. You can also fast forward it to end it. But the more monsters we kill, the more this little thing will build up. This little, like, icon. But by the way, if you guys got lost on any part of like the itemization, since like I know that was like a big part of this video, definitely let me know in the comments and I'll try to help you out. If anything was like too confusing or you didn't understand a mechanic, just let me know. I'll try to get you up to par. But with the delirium, just get as far away as you can. You see now we have the triple of the currency ones. That's what the little icon is for the little chaos orb. And so this is what. This was in a previous league, this is what the mechanic was. But the little rampage thing, every certain amount of kills. Ooh, we got a large cluster jewel. Okay. Well, this is something that I might be able to show you guys if it actually rolls like okay. As there are a few. So we got a fusing. These are nice little things to get. And we got a 2-stone ring. And so I can actually show you guys this mechanic of the... I'm going to upgrade this to max because it's already 15. Usually what people do is they level up to 20 and then they'll get the increased quality when you go to a vendor. It's something I'll mention way later down the line, but I would not recommend getting a gem unless it's a very specific one. There are times where you will do this, but generally what you want to do is you want to buy it at like a certain quality, because it's cheaper to buy it at a certain quality than just buy 20 of these to increase the quality. So what this Flicker Strike gem will do at increased quality, it'll grant us an extra chance to gain a frenzy charge on hit over here. So let's go ahead and put one in. You'll see that now we have 19% chance to get a frenzy charge on hit. That's what the little quality thing does, and our little ice golem died over here, so we'll have to resummon it. Later we'll get this thing called cast when damage taken, and it'll keep on summoning the golem, so we'll have to get that, and I'll show you what that does. So this is what's called a cluster jewel. It's from the delirium mechanic. So when you do the thing where you enter the area and it's all gray, and I mentioned it's like a donut, the reason why I say donut, it's the best example, is because it goes out from the center, and if you it's basically a donut that increases is the best way to explain it. And you want to go far out, because once the center of the donut reaches you, the thing ends. So basically you're on a timer to kill as many things as possible to get a bunch of stuff. So this is, let me kill this first, I don't want to get interrupted here. So what this is a jewel that will increase the size of your skill tree, granting whatever it says. You can modify these as well. Let me get rid of these guys, or I could just go back to town. All right, so this grants us 9 passives additional. So you still have to put points into it. It's not like you just get them all for free. And the 2 added passives are jewel sockets. It says added small passives grant 12% increased attack damage while holding a shield. We actually will eventually use a shield, but this is way later down the line. And all the passives, the small ones, will grant 2 to intelligence, and they will also grant 4 to maximum energy shield. And 1 added passive is fuel the fight. So what is fuel the fight? Well, you'll actually have to go and type in PoE fuel the fight. Up top of my head, I don't know what this one is. I know what Bloodsend is, because that's the one I might actually get. But I will type it in, and fuel the fight. If I just type in like Google PoE fuel the fight, this is what comes up. Fuel the fight. 8% increased attack speed, 0.4% attack damage leeches mana, and increased damage while leeching. So that's what that one does. Is it useful? It's not too bad. Do I really want to prioritize getting it? Well, how it works is you actually have to put in the jewel. It's a cluster jewel. So what it requires you to, does it even explain it in here? Well, anyways, I can explain it probably better. So I can't just put this in. Like if I was to take this out and be like, oh, I want to put this in. It doesn't work, but it's a jewel. How the cluster jewels work are you have to get something that looks like this. It's called a large jewel socket. You can put these in over here, but I don't have the points right now. So I'd have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Then I can get this, then it increases it, and I will show you guys how that works when we get one that's like actually more useful. We also got a new ring. Whoops. Didn't mean to use that one. So we got extra cold damage, and it's not really that useful. It's another ring I'll just basically melt. Okay, here we go. And also, if you don't get this unique chest piece, ideally worm scales are great because they grant you some evasion and some armor, as I kind of like having both. So I'm going to go ahead and also identify it. Now you can see this one's like okay, grants us a decent amount of life. If this just had like 5 sockets, we could go ahead and sell it for like 1 chaos orb or like a couple alks if I wanted to. But let's continue. Ritual mechanic over here. Oh yeah, that's right, we're locked in this area. But with the Dodri's Elixir, I'm just going to keep on activating it. Unless these are all at 3. They have a duration. And so, like I said, you'll see these little like orbs. Each one corresponds to the color. Ooh, there's a Chaos Orb over here. There's 2 rituals remaining. I want to see if I can get the Chaos Orb. Because 1 Chaos Orb equals another item that we can get. And I can get a much better belt. Our belt right now is not so great. And I wanted to replace it for a while. Alright. But now, like, if I wanted to continue with the Cyclone, you can see, I could still use Cyclone. It's totally great still. Like, it's not like if you didn't get the Flicker Strike, or if you don't want it, or if you didn't get the gem, because I know I got mine as a drop. You can go back to Act 3 of the library, and Siosa will sell it to you as well. I'm going to grab this because it's like the best item right here. What's this? This one's okay too. I grabbed some to both. I don't really want to find out the last one. I guess I can just defer this. Can we defer? Oh. We have insufficient deferring. Hello, Suffer. How are you doing? Alright, let's continue on. And this one's a very wide little swing over here. We're coming up to our first passive quest for this act, which is the Father of War. So for a lot of the bosses, I recommend you guys to just use Cyclone. So how this guy works is there is this giant totem, and it just has fire. And when you see that there are these other little totems that have this little blue line, you want to actually eliminate the totem. Otherwise, you can't damage it. If I use Flicker Strike, I can. But the reason why I don't like Flicker Strike is because it teleports you sometimes, and he's going to do an attack, and you lose control over your character with Flicker Strike. But that's the nature and mechanic of the skill. So just use, most of the time you want to use Cyclone, because the damage on Flicker Strike, if I move my face out of the way, like it's pretty bad when you're starting off, especially with like melee splash. It's just not going to add anything to it, right? So I don't even have my charges up. When I activate, like, you know, my charges, you'll see that the damage goes up a lot more. But you can see, like, right now we have the DPS. Now, the DPS tooltip is not always 100% perfect, but we're also losing rage as this goes down. But we have, like, let's say, we'll just use 12,000 as our reference. My Flicker Strike hits for 2,000. So you can see that the Cyclone is, like, amazing for damage. And in fact, it's probably better overall. And I could probably recommend most of you guys to stick with it. But I really like this skill. This is how I like to play the game. Now, we've also killed something that will grant us a Pantheon. So this is a free passive. You have to select 2 small ones and 1 big one. But we haven't done these yet. So since we have the Soul of Tukohama, while stationary, we gain physical damage reduction up to 8%. So that's what it grants us. Now, there is a secondary one. You see where it says Capture Tassin Warmaker. If we capture his soul, we'll be able to get another benefit. But there's a lot of these, and we'll kind of explain it more as we get more. But right now, we only have one, so we're going to select that one as might as well. Right. Alright, let's see our rewards over here. Is there anything good? This is unique over there. Okay, I was going back to some of the areas and doing some of the rituals like I mentioned before in the last part, so I can get some extra currency. And I think how the best way to be efficient with this is don't even look at the first one, because there's things that aren't revealed, right? So there's one more after this one. We'll see. Unless it doesn't count as this one's starting. Ooh! Took a lot of damage. We need some HP. Sometimes what happens is you can take chaos damage, and chaos damage hurts a lot. Sometimes it can actually be lag. Flicker Strike has a lot of issues, especially in the very beginning, where your character just won't move, because it's supposed to be a teleporting attack. But sometimes when your attack speed is super, super, super fast, it'll just wreck you. So we have, let's see, we have 0 rituals remaining, so that is pretty much going to round up. Let's go ahead and we're going to go defer this item, as I prefer that over pretty much everything else. Let's see what this grants us. Blood magic, so that'll use, so combat focus over here. The best thing to do, because again, certain leagues, certain items just go up in price like crazy. Because there's like some new build or something. I don't know if this is worth anything, so what I'm going to do is check out if combat focus, the jewel, is actually going to be worth anything. And if I look it up, this one's elemental. Okay, it just looks different in terms of its color. The one that's coming up when I'm looking it up is red. With 4. Oh, it's. Oh, okay. A lot of them are showing up with dexterity bonus. These are going for about 1 chaos each, and you can, if I roll it, I'm actually gonna do this on it since it's like 1 chaos, which means it's like still kind of worth something. Can I defer both of these? Oh, I can defer both of those. Okay. So what I would like to do with this is get it, and I'm going to Vault Orb it. If you Vault Orb, certain ones can get immunity to corrupted blood, which is actually really good. But sounds good, CDC. All right, let's go to... Actually, did we start off over here? I think we might have... So I think we went over here, we fought him, and then we exited this way. Okay. I was just doing the league mechanic. Oh, we got a nice little rubber band. Alright, let us continue. So we can go back to town and get another passive point. A lot of nice little upgrades right here. And this will be another chromatic. Still worth picking up chromatics. Eventually they'll be like too small and not worth our time, but right now I'd still say it's kind of worth it. Another thing I found out about Ritual League is the way the mechanic works is it's basically bringing the monsters back, and so that's why you have to kill them. You can't just start League mechanic, which it's not that big of a deal, but it's something that like I would prefer it if I clicked on it, it would just start versus having to wait. That's one thing I don't like with Blight League, which is a mechanic I will show you guys later. Like I said, I keep on forgetting it. The best thing to do is to just not read any of the results. Get another skill point. So we're basically one-shot. You can see we're just deleting content right now. I'm trying to use the Dodri's Flask at the very last second to refill out the charges if they're already maxed out. 3 is maxed right now, but later we'll be able to increase our frenzy charges, but not the power and the endurance charge we're probably not going to increase until way later. I might get like 1 extra charge of endurance. But like once we get 100 kills, you can see that little like fire nova. It shoots out like these little red spikes. It's kind of cool. Okay. Again, not looking at it. It's so tempting to click on and see like, you know, what do I get? Look at that elite. We just deleted him like instantly. Actually, let's go back to that direction. What's 1 more? Okay, 2 left. Kind of hybrid out our skills right now. I do like messing around with both of those skills. They're both skills that I like and I plan to use towards the end. Ooh, this is a 5 socketed, but they're not linked, so if it's any like 5 link, depending on the item, you can try to get like 1 orb of alchemy for it. Like you can sell it. We'll go more into selling like later down the line, in terms of trading, because if you want to, you can spam the chat in town and not get what's called the premium stash tab, although it's really not efficient. In fact, most people have it. There's a lot of people that just have it disabled. Like they don't want to hear about your trades. They just want to hear. Actually, we should go to a global channel chat. But next time when we get our last ascendancy, our second part of our ascendancy, with our skills over here, we're going to be able to get this, and it's going to make our damage go up like crazy. We're going to get triple effects of rage. Ooh, this is a 5-link. This is not bad. A 5-link 1,000 ribbons. I actually really like this for leveling up. The reason why I like it is it grants you a bunch of resistances, a little small life, but like it requires like no stats. All it requires is 17 intelligence, and you can easily get this to be a 6-link. You can buy these super cheap, but it's just really nice as a starter item versus what's called Tabula Rasa, and Tabula Rasa doesn't have any stats on it, but it has 6 white sockets that are all linked, which is what makes it good. So checking all the talismans is really good. For once, like talisman usually is not something people get excited about, but honestly, since they can allocate stuff, it's actually pretty big. And in fact, some of the rolls on these talismans are actually pretty good. But since I have a certain amount of tribute, we can get this, and we can't get the that. Do I want anything here? Nothing that I want. Guess we can defer that item. Make another scour, make it cheaper for like later. We'll grab it. And we're going to the lower prison. And in fact, once we get the next waypoint, which we will come up to, and there's also a trial of ascendancy in this area. But I want to go back into town, get my extra skill point, and so we can get some more life. Stay sharp. Like that one time that we died, you know, so far. Actually, like in this part of our playthrough, because I think we've died maybe 2-3 times so far. But I'm gonna go also get rid of these because I don't really need them. Talk to Besta. We'll just get rid of these items, get more of these chromatic orbs. I don't think this one's worth anything. The best thing to do right now is hold on to it just in case it is worth something. I'm not gonna like bother like checking out certain times where you have like very specific rolls, like let's say for example adds fuel to fight and then adds plus life or something that's usually you want something that's related to it, but there are obscure things that like very specific people are looking for that they will pay an insane amount because it's very rare to get like all of these very specific things on a roll. But we're gonna go ahead and get some extra life. We're gonna go here, get some extra life. There's actually some sword damage, which it's okay. I don't really care too much about the extra sword damage. This is all one-handed melee damage. But what I plan to do is actually grab this jewel socket, and we're gonna go up here and get disemboweling because it's really good right now. But more importantly, we're gonna get all these life. We're gonna get all the life ones because life and armor help out right now. And then after we get a bunch of the life, I actually want to consider grabbing Soul of Steel, which grants us +1 to maximum elemental resistances. So instead of 75 being the highest, you can go up to 76. And this can actually get increased up to 90% into one element. And it's actually quite nice. I'll think about this. It depends if I want to actually... I mean, this is okay too, Bloodless, because it's not for the leech necessarily, but it's mostly for like the extra life nodes. But I actually do really want to eventually go here. I might need to for specifically some of the boss mechanics for the extra like chance to dodge and evade. So we have a rogue marker. We only have 35 now, so it's probably not going to be worth doing. It's going to require more markers. But we got the passive point, and now we can go continue. So this one is the Cloven One. That's the other one. I'm just checking. So it's a Puppet Mistress. Actually, we'll just continue right now. Alright, but sounds good, Sever. Have a good one, mate. Let's go ahead and activate. Oops, I don't want to.
I cannot do this yet.
I might actually put this on here just so I can have the extra crit. Maybe the boots were kind of unnecessary for the extra flicker charges. We actually get more flicker charges. That's not bad at all either. At level 55 though, which we're coming up to, we can get an item called Rat's Nest, and what it will do is give us a huge amount to crit. Okay, like I said, we're not going to look at that at all. Gem them up, nice. this guy's really tanky. Alright. We're still melting content, but I would consider really fast. There we go. How many more? We have two more. Okay. So there is a trial of ascendancy right here. This is the only one in this act. But yeah, this one we'll just go ahead and do. Now there is a downside with the helmet that we have. We can't leash on low life, which is actually kind of dangerous, but it's okay. Like I said, dying is really not that big of a deal. We have the 3 dragons. I don't believe this is worth anything, but I'm going to double check. The 3 dragons. It's always good to also familiarize yourself with, like, you know, what's worth something. This one's only worth 1 alch, so that for me is not worth it. Oh, it's not the... I thought it was Ephion, which is actually something that I would consider running. This one's not really going to be too useful for us. I mean, it does add... It's okay for, like low level, because it's like, it just adds a lot of fire damage. But we also got this. This one's... I really wish this was, if it was, like, physical damage, well, wielding a sword, this would be good. Volley fire. Let's check out if volley fire is worth anything. Volley. And I'll just tell you guys if it's worth anything or not. I'm just using the website. I always have it on a tab just to check out certain things. This one is it's worth 3 alchs. 6 alchs is worth a chaos sword. Pretty much, I just don't bother with trading until the end game. That's why I'm not really showing you guys me selling stuff. I engage with the trading when I buy stuff, but generally I kind of feel like it's a waste of time to sell stuff for, like, small currency like Orb of Alterations. Like, it's just, why bother when you can get like one of these can get you several of these so fast. Like, it's just not worth it. But we will go ahead and pick this, and we can go defer absolutely nothing. Oh, we had one more ritual. What is trash to treasure? I'm gonna look up what this does. Trash to treasure. This is a divination card that grants us I'm not actually sure what it does. It is worth so much. It is worth so, oh my, it is worth, what? Oh, this thing is worth several exalts. I cannot defer the item. Oh, I can. Okay, hold on. Okay, we have to do the other one here. I might have made a huge mistake. Oh my gosh. But to answer your question, CD, yeah, we will definitely be doing all the endgame stuff. I know last league, I could have done a lot more endgame content, but since things are changing for this one, it's fine. Like, it's gonna be different. This one, okay, you know what I really need to do? Oops. I didn't even, okay. This one I'll actually have to do properly because I didn't actually equip A. So it's gonna pop right here. And then pop right there. And then we're really good. Oh, we got hit. It's alright. We'll survive. Usually, for any of these puzzles, I like to have at least 1 flask, like for heals. Oh. Let me take damage for that one. That was nice. Woo! So now we only have to do 3 for the next one, but the other 2 are in the next act. What just happened? You heard? Oh, okay. So there's an item that is worth a lot. And I might not be able to get it. But there's still one more in this area. Like, this thing over here, trash, it requires 9 of them. But if it's just like the divination card, is it called card? Whatever. It's the trash to treasure. Like, you need 9 of them to get what's worth a lot. But like, you can just sell 1 of those, and they would. That thing is, if it's worth 50 chaos, which it could be, that could be huge. 50 chaos orbs. Even just 1 chaos orb is nice. I went and grabbed a chaos orb. So here's what I recommend: read the stuff on the uniques first. sometimes with like even rares it can be worth something, but I wouldn't. To check rares, it's really difficult because you'd have to enter in all the parameters, which some people do like to do. For me, like if I feel like yeah, this could be good, I like look it up. Okay. Oh, I can defer. Oh my gosh, I was so scared. I was like, dude, I might have made a huge mistake. But yeah, we're gonna get this, and when we get it, this will be I think the first item that we actually sell. And usually what I do is I always try, well, if you sell something for way, way cheaper, a lot of people that have bots, and they'll just snipe, what's called sniping the item. Actually, did we get to the next, where's the other area? Is it down here? Yeah. The reason why I went back, though, is because I wanted to get the defer of the item so we can get this later. But yeah, that one will be insane when we get it. But it costs like several thousand. So we might not get it for a long time, but as long as we can get at least even 5 Chaos Orbs at this point is huge. Because 10 Chaos Orbs on average, like now we got 3. That's not bad. Once we collect more of these, again, each one of these items costs about 1. This one and this one were 2. This one was 3. This one was 2. But you can get this for like 1. It just might not have. It might just have 5 sockets. But I really want to try to get as many sockets as possible. And also rolled like really good for damage. It was like I think it was a 390, which is like pretty decent. Anything over 380 is pretty nice to have. But later I will be replacing it with a 6-link that has like basically perfect stats. And you can get 2-handed 6-links for a lot cheaper now. Like maybe 10, 15 chaos. But the more important thing that I want to get is a 6-link chest piece. So we're going to get a 6-link chest piece, and it's going to be a corrupted item, but I can't afford it right now. We can get it maybe pretty soon, though. Like, if we got that item, we'll get it. This is your most successful league so far? Nice, dude. Imagine not waiting till I find all of the altars. Okay, yeah, I know. I even said it, like, in this part of our playthrough, I'm like, I should click on all the altars first. And actually, everything I think was revealed at that time. But yeah, it's way more efficient for your time. And it makes way more sense. But some people, what they were doing, like a lot of people have, like, different tips on this. And, like, because I was watching, because I was like, you know, because it's a new league, I don't know all the tips right now. But one person was suggesting to do one of them and then see the rewards. If the rewards aren't worth it, then just don't do it. But here's the problem that I have. Doing one of these doesn't show you all the results in the first place. So how are you going to know, like, if it's worth doing when you don't even know the rewards? You know? Like, sure, you might know a couple of them. Which, again, it can be worth it. But then, if there's nothing, what you can also do is do a reroll, which is actually nice. And then you usually won't have enough to buy something that's really good if you do a reroll. But, how many more? We have three remaining in here. This one's huge. I kind of want to just go do the boss. Since this one's like, kind of like big, I'm just going to grab something. Or I can defer an item. Really nothing. I legitimately don't want anything, but I'm taking this just because I don't want to waste the oh wait, oh no, does this count as the other 3? Oh, it does. I thought it was all on one floor, and I'm like, okay, I'm moving to the next floor, I might as well use my thing. Okay, it's fine, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that trash to treasure one would be very nice. The Iron Bard? What is the Iron Bard? Was that one item that was revealed?
Not you! For my life and my work, I shall not suffer this humiliation again!
So if you guys remember, Brutus from Act 1, he comes back, but they rebuilt him, he's like Frieza, he coming back. She's also has returned. And then now she's going to enter him. So he's like a mech now. He's the reassembled Brutus. Man, we're just destroying. That was all with Cyclone too. Like, ideally what we do get eventually is we get 1 6-link Terminus S perfectly linked out with what we want for our Flicker Strike, so it's not on the armor. Then what we do is we get another copy of something else, another two-handed weapon. Right now we don't have sword scaling, but I might get sword scaling. I kind of want to get axe scaling, honestly, but I can just scale two-handed weapon damage, and that's totally fine as well. But we have another skill point, so more HP. And now we're also going to get, what is it, 2k now? Oh, okay, 18. So now we're going to go to the Warden's Chambers and continue on. And now we are in the Prisoner's Gate. Okay, I'm pretty sure over here is where we will fight another boss pretty soon, and that'll just be, there's 3 skill points. I almost want to skip out on some of these, but then I'm like, dude, I can get that thing that's worth 50 Chaos Orbs, and if I get that, what would I buy with it? I don't want to buy something so expensive, though. It'll just be nice to have. I'm trying to think of, yeah, what I want to get. I got a really cool 6-link armor. Ooh, we have Arrow Nova. This one also has a Chaos Orb. This one is worth doing, at least. It looks like it. There's this league again. This league mechanic, which is for the eye jewels. Some of those eye jewels can go up super high in price. We're gonna do Valley of the Fire Drinker actually after we get the waypoint, if I can, because I want to warp back. That's why I'm just going here just to check. Okay, if it wasn't close by, I'm just gonna go do the boss. The reason why is because actually I think they've added a fast waypoint. Yeah, so yeah, this is Abra. This is another boss. Here's fire. Building up that rage super fast. And you'll see once these like meteors just come down, just leave because he doesn't come back. The first time I did this, I was like, all right, you know, you did your move. When you coming back? He doesn't come back. You just kill him. Wow, dude, that was a like super fast fight. I think our damage is just insane right now because I've had some pretty decent builds that were cleaning up most of the content. I don't think they would have nerfed him. If anything, they would have made it harder. But now we have a different one. This one makes us take reduced fire damage while moving. Actually, I think you take 1 major and I thought you took 2 minor. I think you take 1 minor Kappa. All right. Anyways, it's totally fine because now you can just exit it through here. Okay, perfect. Oh, the div card. Oh, okay. It's worth 42 chaos. Oh, thank you for letting me know. I knew it was worth about 50. But yeah, like if it's worth 42, what I'll do is I'll sell it for maybe 1 under. And sometimes, like, a lot of div cards will sell super fast. Sometimes if it's like a rare item that's not very specific, you need to sell it for significantly cheaper if you want to go in like an instant. I usually like to sell stuff super fast. Sometimes what can happen is it goes up or down in price, and I'd rather just take the consistent, like whatever it is now. And also since if I sell it like, you know, faster versus waiting for like a day or two, because sometimes it takes time to sell an item. I just, you know, I'm logged on right now. I want to play right now. Let's see. Nothing good on that. We have the... I don't think this is worth anything. I don't even know. Some of these things I'm just looking at, like, I can just tell is not worth it. I could be wrong, though, but it's okay. I don't think Learcast even... I'm going to check Learcast, because I don't think I've checked that item in a while. I don't think it's worth anything, though. If it is, awesome. Because again, sometimes with the new league, there's like some new. Oh, it's like worth a chaos orb. All right, so it's like not that bad. I can defer this item and I can just pick this up. Actually, I would much rather pick this up, to be honest. It's just, this is like a real easy currency. And what else do I want to pick up? Well, we got another talisman. Unfortunately, this one's not very good. But we got 2 stacks of essences. Oh, you get stacks of essences. That's really good. At this point, I really don't need anything except for I always pick up the 2 stone rings because I like them a lot. I just try to get a bunch of them. And we're almost at 3, so we can trade 3 and then get the other reader grants us all res, and I just usually use the essences on those. It's a cheap way to almost alch something without using an orb of alchemy, as orbs of alchemy they're useful even in the super end game, whereas the essences, some can be good, but overall you can also try to do it on specifically steel rings, diamond rings. It can be worth it, but you want to try to prioritize getting like some type of physical damage, usually on a steel ring. How many? I wish it showed a number, so like now we have 3. When we click on it, that'd be really nice. So we'll also get a reward. I have another skill point. There's 1 more skill point quest. So we've done the Father of War and the Cloven One. The next one is the Puppet Mistress that we need to do, but I think we have to continue on. I believe this is the Brine King. Oh, okay. I believe it's this one. In fact, I want to go back right now. Actually, we should go back into town right now. Arios, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it, mate. Let me give you a shout out. How did your stream go? And what were you playing?
Farewell.
Oops, if you can try to ideally get well, this is a 4 link, but I don't really care for it right now. I guess I can take the reward and then
farewell.
We will just sell it.
How's business?
Greetings.
Let's go ahead and just sell this. Get those out of the way. We can also check and see if this is good.
Stay
that
sharp
useful.
out there.
There we go. I wanted that passive point, so we get that extra passive point. Put a skill point over here, and we'll see if there's anything good. Actually, isn't there? We can start scaling endurance charges, which is kind of nice. I actually kind of want to get not bloodless, the Soul of Steel. And there's actually 2 things that are good right here. So there's Soul of Steel, and there's additional physical. Let me type in. There's 1 thing that's really good around here for physical. Did they move it? Sometimes they move stuff on the tree. There's 1 that grants you basically an endurance charge. It's like something for like additional physical. It's basically a free endurance charge permanently. Unless they've moved it. It used to be like right around here, unless they changed it to Soul of Steel. I like this thing though, it's pretty nice. But I'm probably just going to scale more life. So we'll actually go up here, grab this, and we'll actually get extra fire res. And, whoops. Okay. Let's continue.
Let me.
Oh, you're doing
wrong to do that here.
A cremation armor build. I gotcha. Are you enjoying this league so far, though? Getting ready to get wrecked by Cyrus? You gotta get that chaos res up, right? Last time when we fought Cyrus, it was so easy. Because I was playing Necromancer. Necromancer, I believe it was Delirium Patch, was so strong. Like, woo, we got a nice little Chaos Orb. For the endurance charges nodes, it was one where it grants you extra physical, flat physical like reduction at a flat number. It was like maybe like 5% additional physical damage reduction. I don't know if they've removed that node, but yeah, we'll show off the rogue marker in this part of our, what? Okay, you picked it up. Well, okay, we rubber banded. Fantastic. Let's go over here. There's Nessa. So you guys remember?
He did this to me, the King of Brian, and he wants me to be. Oh God, please. I don't know how I'm doing this, nor if I may again.
This is actually kind of a cool part of the story, but she's like, help me. So she's like in the water,
It would be wrong.
But it's kind of cool what actually happens. But yeah, I wanted to go do that so I can go here and then progress. Oh, the Cyrus mobs are one-shotting everyone? Ooh. Dang. What type of damage is it? Is it... Because, like, to scale chaos resistance, I usually just get Ming's Heart. Which technically lowers your life, but, like, you get so much chaos res that, like, I feel like it's kind of worth it. And the rings are, like, 1 chaos each. They're super, super cheap. We got another chaos over here. How many more on this one? 2. Alright. Well, I guess we'll just defer this. I can defer all 3 of those items. Cyrus can just invade maps? That's kind of weird. It's like a pretty difficult boss. Oh, you don't think it's chaos damage? Okay. Well, I guess we just need to start scaling life then, right? Okay, oh, this is the way for the Puppet Mistress. Perfect. So this is the last quest in this act to get a skill point. Oh, there's the delirium mechanic. These are definitely worth doing. You can get a jewel that's worth a lot. Another 2-stone ring, perfect. My favorite. Oh, come on, pick it up. Can we do Ritual League and this at the same time? Sometimes when you mix too much in, it gets a little bit too dangerous. Are we going to do it for the sake of doing it? You betcha. So we're going to have the delirium mechanic, which makes the monsters usually a lot more difficult. And we're going to do this other one at the same time. Probably don't recommend doing this, as it could be too hard. But I'm doing it faster, right? Worth. Potentially. Alright, now that that's done, we'll just start the next one. A nice little latency right there. Woo, another level. Got a little summons of another clone or something. You have 6.2k life and you're getting one-shotted? Dang, that's pretty rough. Do you have, like, are you just relying on evasion? Because obviously we're not at the end game yet. Got the currency one, so that's really good. Sometimes, ooh. Sometimes if you come up to a monster in here, it can just be too hard. You just get absolutely destroyed. Oh, we're rubber banding. I could see that's when you're like you're attacking to nothing because you didn't sync up with the server. I'm stuck on something. Oh, that's unlucky. So if you want to, you can just fast forward the delirium. Actually, oh, so you can see the top left, how close and far away we are. Now it's just gonna drop everything. Woo! Ooh, nice. We got another cluster jewel. Do the last ritual over here. Is this the last one? One ritual remaining. Cyclone is just so much stronger. Jeez, it's like disappointing. The Flicker is so weak. I think Flicker really could get a nice buff. I mean, like, yeah, I understand it's supposed to be like super fast clearing stuff, and it does the job, but you have to scale your damage so much higher. Let's see, 2 to 4 Fizz. I'm actually okay on that. Let's see, this one has Crit Strike Multi. Just eliminate that thing. We got Reaper's Pursuit. Let me move my face out of the way so you guys can see. So we got Reaper's Pursuit, which grants us, it's not really that great, but the hits can't be evaded, I guess, is something to consider. Rogue Ult's Charge, this is an okay leveling item, but we're kind of way past that. Can I, like, kill this thing? It's, like, in the way, okay. Let's see what else was there. Pretty much just the Chaos Orb and, like, all the currency items is what I'm going to grab. And grab this too, awesome. I like this league a lot for the currency. Wait. Can I defer that instead? Yeesh. Okay. So we'll show off what Evolve does later. You're playing Slaydra with Flicker. I used to like it when you could be immune to bleed. I guess they changed that. Which was kind of disappointing because you can do like the reflect. There's a reflect bleed build that you can do, which is really fun. And then you just be immune to bleed, so you just there's no downside to like having your bleeds be reflected. But you can get Paradox, you can get way more damage. You just start scaling like flat fizz on like everything. Thoughts on the new season? I like the mechanic. I wish you could just click start though. I don't like that you have to kill them. I understand it's a ritual, like kill them and they come back, but I just wish I can click on it and it would just start, if that makes sense. We're not even using a life flask, but I do like this thing, which it's for basically some of the little puzzles that you will be engaging in, and the other ones don't really give that much right now, anyways. Even though I don't even have a potion equipped. No 2-stun ring. There we go. So now that we've done this, we're gonna go back into town. I'll go. Did I talk to Sin? Nope. Okay. I'm gonna talk to Tarkley.
Farewell.
Right.
Farewell.
How are you going?
So if we put in, let's see, 2 or 3 of these. Oh, do they have to be all the same rarity? I thought it was just 3 of them. Oh, you know what I can do? I think we have, in the stash, we probably have one of these essences. Let's see. Increase cold damage. I don't really care about that. Increase cold damage, dexterity. Yeah, at least this one is a stat I can use. Unfortunately, nothing too great with these. Sword of Vestal.
Right now.
Oh, okay. We can get some currency out of it. Is it like you have to mix it to get the? Okay. We'll make a video dedicated towards the crafting recipe for this. Or in fact, just for all the crafting recipes that are like more relevant. I'm just gonna slam all these into my storage real quick. I don't need that either. Oh, this one doesn't add anything that I'd say is really important here. But sometimes people, what they'll do is they'll like roll these. Like you can throw different modifiers on it. Like let's see, this one. Was this worth doing? I actually have no idea. Traps are generally something that people do like to play with in this game, as they do add a significant advantage on the bosses, because you can basically, when the boss is like, all right, you can't hit me, let me talk, you will be able to get a huge amount of like DPS. Sometimes you can just pop the boss the next phase. You can bring monsters from other parts of the map and add them to the ritual. Other parts of the map. Huh. Oh wait, you know what? We used a portal. We didn't get the waypoint for that one. So we did all of the we did all the trials so far on this one. So now all the trials, and I think we gotta go this way downwards. I already used all. Did I use all my tribute? I can't even, it's like, whatever. For me, it's like, I don't really want to see the same items again. Maybe it could be worth it just to just do it to do it. Because there might be some type of achievement. I actually didn't bother checking the achievements because there are free rewards that you get. One of them might be like, used for X amount of times. For the league. And you get free like cosmetics in the game. Oh, yeah, we're definitely desynced. server. Just gonna press that waypoint, right? Oh. Just gonna skip on this one. I will kill all the blues. Where are we? Oh, we're way ahead of the levels here. So now we're just gonna go right to the southern forest. And we'll also grab the jewel slot. There's actually another jewel slot that I should get pretty soon. But it's just because I want to buy a certain jewel. And looking for that certain jewel might take a little bit of time. As what I like to get on jewels ideally is crit damage. Or anything that will add physical damage. Double resistances, so it'll say like plus 10 or 10 to 13 or whatever to fire and lightning. Depending on like what resistances I kind of lower on. Dang, just our leap slam is killing stuff. Look at that. 2 leap slams. Just move and we're just deleting content. That feels good. Woo! Huge pop right there. This area is huge. Okay, there we go. Now we go back to the Cavern of Anger. So, like, if you remember, this was from Act 1. Technically, we're still also in Act 1, but this is from, like, when we first started off the game.
Brian King, his time has almost come. Then
Oh, we're definitely desynced. Are we desynced, or is this just really bad accuracy? Let me see. Chance to hit is 100%. Okay. Just a little server lag, I'm guessing. It happens a lot with Flicker Strike, especially during the first week, which I've mentioned before. This one's not too bad. Like, during Legion, oh my gosh. Lots of disconnects. Okay. And then in the next part of our playthrough here, we will be able to do 2 more of the trials, and then we will also do the ascendancy for the next one. And the next ascendancy, like I said, is going to increase our DPS and our mobility. It's triple the benefits of rage. And since we get plus 10 rage for free with the new update, which is why I wanted to play Zerker in the first place. Because I felt like all the other classes took a nerf, while this one just straight up got a buff. And it adds up when you start scaling, like, you know, more things on rage. Like, I'm going to get all my... I'm going to have over 100% of my damage added into fire damage. Like, it's all bonus. And then I'm going to have 70% of our damage, physical damage, will be also added into the... There's just so much. Will be added into chaos damage. As I plan to run Double Ming's Heart to avoid any resistance. We're going to actually do these now. Almost every single one of these. And until we get our 6th link, this could be a great way to get a 6th link. Oh, this one's just like right here. Okay, that's all we got. It's also War Chief, so worth grabbing. There's also a Chromatic Orb that I did not grab. I'm too lazy to go back. But that would have been another item that would be worth grabbing. this is an area where Flicker Strike just does not work. Because what we gotta do is we gotta stand inside of this little thing that moves. I'm gonna actually put in a 0.2 R vitality. This is the life, yeah. And it grants us extra resistances, which is nice. I'll probably unspec out of a lot of these resistance ones later. It's just, I want you guys to be able to be safe as possible without, like, needing to get stuff. And, like, I don't really mind getting it. Just gonna put this on this. Wait, I don't have this activated? Oh. So we're doing a lot less damage. It's fine, though. I'll put Blood Rage on middle mouse click. Oh, we can't leech on low life. Bad. Low life in this game, I believe, is under 30%. Okay. That's because this helm has like a downside. It's not really that big of a deal because it doesn't happen that often. So all I have to do is stay inside that little like little ring, and it moves. For pet builds, this thing is like super easy. Because the problem is if I use Flicker Strike, I just move out because it teleports me. What's up, Sonata? Oh, I missed the $10,000 prize pool for the race to what, level 100? Dang, dude. You know, I was definitely competing for that cap, but how you doing, Sonata? Woo! We got that Chaos Orb, nice. Almost at 10? Maybe 7, I think is what we're at right now. But having some like little minions come out is quite nice for this. Because we have it from our Herald of Purity. Okay. Okay, now that we've done that. Oh, it's almost done. Oh. Then we light the beacon. No, do not. There we go. I did it too fast. The ship comes up. It's kind of cool. We talk to him. And then now we're going to go to the Brine King's Reef. Wait, you're not even playing this league? You do not like the mechanic, or you're just waiting for like the server stability and lag? Because I know some people for this game, they don't play in the first week because they're like, I want to see if my build gets nerfed, which is, yeah, makes sense. Sometimes they do nerf things that are like too broken, but sometimes people are like, no, I know that this is broken, I'm gonna play it, and you know, I hope they don't nerf it. But some of the game breaking stuff does get nerfed. They definitely. What do you mean they never nerf anything? There was the infinite armor scaling, which also gave you infinite damage with War Cry stacking over and over. That was during last league. That got nerfed within like 1 week. There was also there was something with a bow that was unintentional that would just like cast all of your skills, even if it wasn't like set up properly. It's not nerfed, it's a bug fix. Well, I mean, you call it a bug fix, some people call it a nerf. Either way, it makes some people unhappy, right? At the end of the day, and sometimes like they change one thing in a game, people are like, I don't want to play this game anymore. Their favorite character in the game gets nerfed, their favorite weapon. They nerfed Invincible Oak. Oh. This thing is super long. Okay, here we go. This is a really cool boss fight. This is the end of the act boss fight. So remember how she was like, help me, help me.
Dedicated. A man like you would never disappoint a lady in need. You're a gift, don't you see? A sumptuous feast for His Majesty.
Oh, you guys can actually read the text, so I can talk over it. Anyways, so one thing I like with the trappers is like right now I could be setting up all these traps. So as soon as she's finished done talking, because you can't skip some of the dialogue in that. in these areas. Oh, I'm on low life. This is bad. This is really bad. I'm probably dead. Oh, we somehow made it alive. I have no idea how we made it out right there. So when she does that, don't stand in the lightning things. It hits pretty hard. Probably shouldn't stand in this, but my life leech is like, hey, you're chilling. We okay. Now she's gonna do this with the monsters. So yeah, just you'll see these little circles. They do damage. Let's see if they. No, I'm gonna say let's test it out. Let's see if we can sustain Flicker. Yeah, we're doing a pretty good job actually. Flicker's terrible for boss fights though. One, I don't have something to swap out our melee splash damage with, which I could swap out for like inspiration or ruthless. That'd be a good idea. But right now I'm like I just want to go fast. I don't want to like have to deal with weapon swapping. But I could actually, no. Right now I have it already set up on this. Say I could set it up so I have a weapon swap. But now we've defeated the Brine King. We have a major god node. So this is what this one does. So you can't be stunned if you've been stunned or blocked a stunning hit in the past 2 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and usually you can do it right now.
And thus the Lord of...
Okay, yeah, like specifically, like you're supposed to be in town when you like swap these, but it's so you can't just like snapshot to like, oh, I want to go to a very specific one right now. But now we're gonna go ahead and sail to the bridge encampment, which is Act 7. So we have just entered Act 7, and this one's going to be really awesome because we're going to finally be able to get the next 2 on our ascendancy, which again, it does have a downside though. It has another upside. We can't be stunned pretty much permanently because we'll almost always have 25 rage unless it's like a boss fight and he's talking for a really long time and it just starts draining. But we lose 0.1% of our life per second while we're not losing rage. But the effects of rage are tripled. So that means we will have, right now we have 70 rage. We can actually increase it to over 100, but it requires a very expensive belt, and then there's also a couple jewels that are expensive. But what we'll be able to do with this is we'll have 210 attack damage, because remember 70 times 3 is what we're getting. So massive amount of bonus attack damage, massive amount of attack speed. Once we get it to like 90, it'll be like over 100. And then we'll also get a massive amount of movement speed. So it's going to be quite nice once we get Rite of Ruin. And then we'll also get massive amount of damage. I'm not sure how difficult the boss gauntlets are going to be. For once, I might actually get Pain Reaver, as they did buff this. Yeah, I believe Pain Reaver. You can also get this. I mean, it depends how hard it is. I actually usually like getting Aspect of Carnage, but I feel like it might be too hard for the boss gauntlet because this is like almost something that most people will be taking. But I have a lot of damage right now. But the reason why I want this is because, again, the boss gauntlet just might be really insane. And so if we take like a massive amount of damage, we'll be able to have a huge amount of bounce back recovery. Then I can maybe respec out of a few points over here and get more damage somewhere else. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up our PoE playthrough for Part 6, Act 6, and we'll be moving on to Act 7 in the next playthrough. And there are going to be 10 acts that we complete. Then there's the end game content that will also show up. But anyways, thanks for tuning in for this part. If you enjoyed, drop a like on it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.